There are many pastors who have known for years that they want to write a book, not because they want to be authors, but because they have a message that they've been carrying. And yet some of them never start. Not because they don't know how to write, but because they don't know how to steward that message properly into a book. In this video, I want to show you the exact process that I use to take pastors and leaders and mentor them from taking the message that they carry and turning it into a professionally published book. My name is Carl Janchis. I'm an author, a book coach, and a publisher, and I work exclusively with pastors and Christian leaders to take the message that they've been carrying and turn it into a published book for their ministry. I want to explain to you exactly why it's so hard for pastors to write a book. Now, I've worked with quite a few pastors before, and I've seen the same thing always. They believe that their sermon is the book. But these are two completely different things. Your sermon is you preaching under the power of the Holy Spirit. And usually it's filled with mistakes. Sometimes there's a stutter, sometimes there's a stumble, sometimes you're a bit too repetitive. But that emotion still carries through your body language, your words, the tone of your voice, the volume that you carry, and the people that are around you. That's the power of a sermon. And sometimes, even in a sermon, you still forget to say certain things that you wanted to say. You always forget something little. Your book is something very different. Your book needs to be carefully structured and curated. You can't forget something. You can't forget to put something in. You can't stumble. You can't stutter. You can't be too repetitive. You need to be very clear about what you want to put in that book, because this book will last long after the sermon is done. When you are done preaching, what happens is a lot of times those people go home and they forget what you said. But in your book, they take this home with them and they never forget what was said. They never forget because they always have it with them. This book needs to be carefully structured. It needs to have every little detail that the Holy Spirit has put on your heart, and so that you can put it in your book. That's why books are so much more important for multiplying your ministry. A lot of times pastors struggle to write because the weight of the message that they've been carrying is far too heavy, and they struggle to take that and put it on paper. It reminds me of Ezekiel. God made Ezekiel sleep on the right side of his body for 200 plus days because the north was going into captivity for 200 plus years, and he needed to feel the weight of his message. Then he made him sleep on the left side of his body for 70 days because the south was going into captivity for 70 years, and he needed to feel the pain of his message. Whenever God made Ezekiel do crazy things like cut off his hair, walk with a pan in front of his head, eat cow dung, all of that was to feel the pain and the weight of his message. And most pastors, they feel the weight of their message and they don't know how to take that and steward it into a properly published book. That's where I step in. And because they don't know how to steward this message into a book, they always start and then they stop. And they start and they stop because they have a fear of doing it injustice. They know this is a message from God. They know they don't want to make mistakes and mess it up. And so because they start and stop and start and stop because they are fearful of making mistakes. Because it's true, with a book you shouldn't be making mistakes. You shouldn't be leaving things out. You shouldn't have it messy and unprofessional. That's where I step in. My job is to make sure that the message that they are carrying is something that is properly published and properly multiplies the ministry that God has given them. Now, how do I help pastors turn the message that they've been carrying into a properly published book? I have a 3-step process. Number 1 is what I call the book calling conversation. If you go to the bottom of this video, there is a link that will take you to a booking page where you can book a conversation with me. This is just 30 minutes, completely free. The aim is that we want to find out, is the message that you're carrying ready to be a book? I need to find out, does the message that you're carrying stir my spirit? And are you the type of person who can carry that message further and multiply the ministry? The aim of this is so that I can understand the message. This is not a sales call. This is a call to figure out, are you ready for the process? Because The journey to getting your book published, to writing the book, getting it published, and using it to multiply your ministry is a long journey. It is a difficult journey. And if you are not ready for it, I cannot help you. So the 30-minute conversation is simply just to see, are you ready? The next part of the process is what I call the 5-day book calling intensive. This 5-day book calling intensive is me spending time with you every single day for 5 days straight, Monday to Friday. And the aim is very simple. If you cannot spend 1 hour per day with me, then I guarantee you, you cannot spend 1 hour per day writing your book. In this 5-day intensive, I use what I call the B.L.O.O.M framework to figure out who you are and what your message is. So in day 1 of the intensive, it is all about you. I need to understand you, your ministry, how long you've been in it, and how passionate you are about it, because you are the one who's going to have to carry the message. The book is just a product of that message, but you are the one who's going to have to run with it. On day 2, it is about the message that you are carrying. I need to hear exactly what the message is. Every idea that you have for this book and this message, every revelation you've received, I need to hear it so that we can figure out how do we form this into a good structure for the book. In day 3, it's all about order. The chaos that's going in your head, all the ideas that you have, every little thing, we need to take that and put it into a structure that is workable for your book. Your book can't just be a mess of ideas. It needs to be a concrete structure that is easy to understand and easy for the people who are reading it to digest. On day 4, we work on outcome. Who is this book for? Why must it exist? What changes are you supposed to see in the people after they've read the book? These are all things that we need to figure out with your book so that we know that the book is actually multiplying your ministry to the right people. Not everyone should be part of your ministry. Not everyone needs to hear the message you are carrying. But there are certain people whose lives will be changed by your message. And we need to know who those people are. Finally, day 5 is all about moving forward. Where do we go from here? And this is where I bring you into step 3. Now, at the end of the 5-day book intensive, if things went well, if I feel that the message you are carrying actually stirs my spirit as the mentor, and it stirs your spirit, and this is something that we can run with according to Habakkuk 2, then I might invite you into what I call the mentorship path. Now, the mentorship path is a long journey that we travel together from start to end. And there are 2 mentorship paths you can follow. The first is what I call the 6-month message to manuscript path. The 6-month journey focuses on writing your book, structuring your book, publishing your book, and making sure that book is in your hand. It is to give you the tool to multiply your ministry. That's the 6-month journey, and I walk with you every step of the way. The second path is what I call the 12-month legacy book mentorship. This path has everything that the first one includes, but we go a little further. This includes writing, publishing, positioning for the book, launching the book, and ministry impact. Both paths, the 6-month journey and the 12-month journey, lead into a published book. The difference is how far it goes to reaching the right people, because your ministry needs to reach the right people. Now, what can you expect in these mentorship paths? Well, the first thing is, how much time do we spend together? So after the 5-day book intensive, where we spend every single day together, after that, our time reduces to once a week. And the aim for this is, I need to figure out, do you have the courage and the strength to do it on your own? So we'll be working on the structure of the book, the planning for the book in those first few weeks, making sure that you've got your plan. Then, once you start writing, the time moves into twice a week, because I don't want to overwhelm you with constant meetings. You have your own life, you have your own family. We need to make sure that you are actually getting the time that you need to write. And I'll be giving you homework. I'll be expecting, I need chapter 1 by this date, chapter 2 by this date, chapter 3 by this date, and so forth. And there will be constant feedback and constant guidance. My WhatsApp line is open 24/7 to make sure that you always have the support that you need. Now, let's talk about who this is for. This is for pastors or Christian leaders, anyone in the fivefold, or anyone who is just a leader in their church who feels they have a message that they've been carrying, that wants to bring that message out into the world. This is not for people who want to be authors. You will be an author, but author is not going to be your title. You are still a pastor. This is not for people who's looking for a hobby. This is not for people who want to be ghostwriters, or for people who are looking to be ghostwriter or hiring a ghostwriter. It's not authentic. And it is not just for people who are looking for a quick path to write. This is a long, grueling process to make sure that that weight that you've been carrying in your spirit is actually put out into the world and multiplies your ministry. So, if you feel that you have been called to write a book, then the next step is very simple. Go to the link below, click on it, book a book calling conversation with me, 30 minutes, and let's talk about getting your book done. And please like and subscribe.